Welcome back to the Daf Yomi interdimensional quantum spacecraft. We are hovering through the realm of Zevachim, Tractate Zevachim, planet Tractate Zevachim. We were entering the inner atmosphere of Daf 33b. At the top of the page, although we are just a little bit on the stratosphere of the 33a, the last, the outer atmosphere, last line, which is Kol Olin Lemizbech Olin Derchemin. All those who ascend the ramp to the altar ascend via the right side of the ramp toward the southeast corner. And now we're entering the realm of 63b. Umakifim v'yodin derech small chutz min ha'olam l'shloish elu shehoyolim v'yodin okay, and circle the altar until reaching the southwest corner and descend via the left side of the ramp, except for one who ascends for one of these three matters, where they would ascend directly to the southwest corner of the altar and descend by turning on their heels and retracting the path by which they ascended, rather than circling the altar. Yehoshua, the Gemara asked a question about the Mishnah's statement that the sacrificial rite of a bird sin offering is performed at the southwest corner of the altar. From where are these matters derived? Rabbi Yehoshua says the verse states with regard to the sin offering of a destitute sinner, which is a meal offering brought in lieu of an animal or bird, he shall put no oil upon it, neither shall I put any frankincense on it, if what is a sin offering. Leviticus 5:11. From this verse, it is evident that a sin offering is called a meal offering, and a meal offering is called a sin offering, so that their halachot may be compared. My chadas tu natzafon, af mincha tu natzafon, uma mincha bekerem narovis deromis, af chadas bechen narovis deromis. Just as the sin offering requires slaughtering in the north section of the temple courtyard, so too the handful of a meal offering requires sanctification in a service vessel in the north. And just as a meal offering is brought near to the southwest corner of the altar, so too the blood of a sin offering is sprinkled on the southwest corner of the altar. The Gemara asks him with regard to a meal offering itself, from where do we derive that it must be brought near the altar at the southwest corner, as it is taught in the Brayta with regard to the verse, and this is the law of the meal offering before the Lord in front of the altar, Leviticus 6:7. From the phrase before the Lord, one might have thought that the rite of bringing the meal offering near the altar must be performed at the west side of the altar, which faces the sanctuary. Therefore, the verse states in front of the altar, which is the south side, from where the priests ascend the ramp. I al panei hamizbeach yochel b'darom tamid lo malchni Hashem. Ha'ketzad megisha keren ma'ovis d'raimis keren chudo shel keren v'dayoi. The Brayta continues, if the verse merely stated in front of the altar, one might have thought that the practice of bringing the meal offering near the altar must be performed at the south side of the altar. Therefore, the verse states before the Lord, which indicates the west side. How can these texts be reconciled? The priest brings it near the southwest corner of the altar, opposite the edge of the corner of the altar, and that is sufficient.
רבי אליעזר אומר, יכול יגישנה למערבה של קרן או לדרום של קרן. אמרת כל מקום שאתה מוצא שני מקראות, אחד מקיים עצמו מקיים חברו, ואחד מקיים עצמו מבטל חברו, מניחן זה שמקיים עצמו ומבטל חברו, ותופשין את שמקיים עצמו ומקיים חברו. The Braita continues. Rabbi Eliezer says, one might have thought that the priest may bring it near the altar to the west of the southwest corner, to the south of the southwest corner. You must say anywhere you find two cases, and acting in accordance with one of them fulfills itself, meaning the requirement stated in that verse and fulfills the requirement stated in the other verse, whereas acting in accordance with the other one fulfills itself and negates the requirement stated in the other verse. One leaves the verse that fulfills itself and negates the other, and seizes the verse that fulfills itself and fulfills the other verse as well. כשאתה אומר אל פני השם במערביך קיימת אל פני מזבח, כשאתה אומר אל פני מזבח בדרום קיימת לפני השם. The Gemara explains in this context, when you say before the Lord, which indicates the meal offering should be brought near the altar at the west side of the altar, how have you fulfilled the other part of the verse in front of the altar, which indicates the south side? When you say in front of the altar and bring it near the altar at the south side, you have also fulfilled the phrase before the Lord. Consequently, the meal offering must be brought near the south side of the altar. B'darim hechan kiyamto amar Rashi k'sofer haytano kulei mizbeach b'tzafon kohi. The Gemara asks, if one brought the meal offering near the altar at the south side, how have you fulfilled the phrase before the Lord? Rashi says the Tana holds that the entire altar stood in the north section of the temple courtyard. The southern side of the altar was directly aligned with the midpoint of the temple courtyard, directly opposite the entrance of the sanctuary, and therefore it is considered before the Lord. Ma'ika Amar Ashi Hachika Amar B'chol Makom Haisa Kashera Lemli Kasa Elazeh Haya Mikom Ali Hab Asa. The Mishnah teaches that if the sacrificial rite of a bird sin offering was performed in any place on the altar, the offering is valid, but the southwest corner was its designated place. The Gemara asks, what is the Mishnah saying when it states that the southwest corner was its designated place? The Mishnah already stated that the sacrificial rite of a bird sin offering should be performed at the southwest corner. Rashi said, this is what the Mishnah is saying. Any place that was valid for its pinching, but the southwest corner was the place for the sprinkling of its blood. Tanina lehad tanu rabbanan milaka b'chol makom mizbeach kashera hizab dama b'chol makom kashera hizab l'mitzah kashera b'lvad shitin michutz hasikra michut hasikra ulemata midam hanefesh. Chut hasikra, the red line. That's something to really think about. Chut hasikra, $3.99. Chut hasikra. Mispar Katan is $39, and it's actually $3.99. Interesting. Chut hasikra lemata midam hanefesh. The Gemara notes we learn in this Mishnah that which the sages taught explicitly in the Braita with regard to a bird sin offering. If the priest pinches nape in any place on the altar, it is valid. If he sprinkles blood in any place on the altar, it is valid. If he sprinkled the blood but did not squeeze out the remaining blood upon the lower part of the wall of the altar in accordance with the verse, and he shall sprinkle of the blood of the sin offering upon the side of the altar, and all the rest of the blood shall be squeezed out at the base of the altar, Leviticus 5:9. It is nevertheless valid, provided that he places some of the blood of the soul anywhere on the altar from the red line and below. Mike Amar Hachikamar Milaka Bechon Makom Bamizbeach Kishero Mitzadama Bechon Makom Mizbeach Kishero. The Gemara asks, what is the Braita saying? It first states that the offering is valid no matter where on the altar its blood is sprinkled, and then it states that the blood must be placed specifically below the red line. The Gemara answers, this is what the Braita is saying. If he pinched its nape in any place on the altar, it is valid. If he squeezed out his blood in any place on the altar, it is valid.